Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us either in person or via the Zoom platform. We will get started right around 10 o'clock. If you're joining us in person and have public comment to provide, please fill out a comment card in the back of the room and bring it up front. If you're on the Zoom platform, please be sure to raise your hand so we know that you have public comment for us. Hands raised, I haven't called on yet. I see Audit LA. Audit LA, good morning. Do you have general public comment or
Good
comment on
morning.
any agenda
Yes,
item?
that and also all agenda items. And I see Commissioner Grant. Hello.
Okay, perfect. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Mr. Torres.
morning. Making another check for public comment before we get started. I see someone with the hand raised iPhone 4. If you could unmute yourself and let us know your name and,
Yes, Jennifer Spencer.
okay. Do you have general public comment and agenda item comment?
No, just general public.
Okay, thank you. We'll get to you when we get started.
Thank-
See like this. Good morning. On the Zoom platform, see a hand raised phone number ending in 880. Can you go ahead and unmute yourself and let us know your name and if you have general public comment?
I'm just doing public comment, please.
Okay, and sorry, it's the volume, the audio is a little low. What your name
I'm
is?
doing public comment. Do you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, great, thank you. let me put us into record mode, President King. And all right, we are now recording.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for Friday, February 20th, 2026. Ms. Zatorsky, please take roll and establish quorum.
Yes, of course. Good morning, everyone. Devin Zatorsky with the Board of Public Works, taking role in establishing quorum. We're joined today by President Kang, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant, Commissioner Mitchell, and Commissioner Cardenas. And we do have a quorum. We have public comment via the Zoom platform, no in-public comment person card today, and no neighborhood council commentary. And we're also joined by our City Attorney Representative, Ms. Daryl Field.
Thank you very much. So before we proceed to public comment, we do have a special retirement recognition for a member of our Bureau of Sanitation. So without further ado, I want to ask our Bureau representative to come up and as we recognize your tremendous commitment to the City of Los Angeles.
All right, well, good morning. Good morning, President Kang, Vice President Chavez, Honorable Commissioners Grant, Mitchell, and Cardenas, and Executive Officer at City Attorney. I'm Alex Halou. I'm the Assistant Director for LA Sanitation and Environment. There's a powerful moment in the movie, It's a Wonderful Life, where George Bailey realizes that the true measure of a life isn't recognitions or titles. It's the impact you have on others and your community. Public service works the same way. Much of the work happens behind the scenes in policy drafts, negotiations, and difficult decisions, but its impact shapes a city for generations. When we look at Dan's 35 years of service, that kind of impact is undeniable. Dan was instrumental in many programs for this Bureau of Sanitation and truly a major architect of Recicla. He helped design and implement one of the city's most significant transformation for waste and recycling system. The work required vision, persistence, and the ability to navigate complex challenges while keeping long-term goals in focus. Dan set high standards and made sure his team had the tools and support to meet them. He built systems designed to last, and as we all know, he made sure that those systems came with dashboards, color-coded charts, and always up to date. As Maya Angelou once said, people never forget how you made them feel. Policies evolve, programs change, and priorities shift. But what lasts is how leaders treat their teams. Dan led with proficiency, dedication, and integrity. And that is what so many of us will remember most. His legacy lives not only in the Recicla, but in the people he mentored, the standard he set, and the culture of accountability he helped build. Dan, as you head into retirement, we wish you fewer performance matrices, fewer implementation timelines, and perhaps slightly shorter presentations. Although knowing Dan, I fully expect he already have a retirement dashboard, complete with quarterly milestones and a 5-year strategic plan. But in all seriousness, your impact on this city will be felt for years to come. The systems you built will endure. The people you mentored, and many of them behind you, will carry your standard forward. And the example you set of discipline through public service will continue to guide us. We also know that this milestone isn't just about a career. It's about family. Diane, sitting next to him, has shared you with this city for nearly 35 years. And now she finally gets you back full-time. And with a new granddaughter, adorable Ruby, to enjoy, we can't think of a better next chapter. The patience, structure, and steady guidance that made you such an effective leader for sanitation will serve you well into your retirement. Dan, thank you for your leadership, your integrity, and your extraordinary service. We are proud what you have built, grateful for the example you've set, and wishing you and your family a retirement filled with joy, health, and meaningful time together. Congratulations, Dan, as you now move into your most important role of your life, your grandfather. You truly earned this moment. Congratulations. I have here a certificate from the Board of Public Works. Recognize the work you've done for the city for 35 years and signed by all our commissioners. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You want to take a picture of this? Let's move. So he can show it to Ruby. Thank you.
So Dan, before you come up to speak, I wanted to provide an opportunity for the commissioners, and then we'll have you close us out afterwards. You want to, well, Dan, would you like to go first? Okay.
Well, certainly. This is a difficult one for me because I don't have charts. I don't have data. I just have me and my family and support of all my friends and coworkers. I just wanted to start off by just letting this board know and everybody how truly thankful I am. Thankful for what this bureau, which I've spent all 35 of my years within the Department of Public Works and the Bureau of Sanitation. That this city has been able to provide for me and my family, and I've been able to watch them grow. And I'm just so very thankful that I had the opportunity to work here, had the opportunity to work on the programs I did. I also consider myself extremely fortunate. Every day that I came to work, I was able to come to work really with a smile on my face. The people that I got to work with were bar none the best. And I enjoyed being able to talk with them, grow. The programs Alex spoke of are programs that were not of my doing, but as an entire army of friends and colleagues that have worked to make this happen. As I move on, and it really was a decision of priorities, you know, I did want to shift my priorities from work to family. As Alex pointed out, I'm joined by my wife, Diane, my daughter, Ashley, her husband, Jamie, and my new grandbaby, Ruby. My youngest daughter is not able to join us. She lives in England. My other daughter lives in New York. They both decided to move as far away as possible. So I need as much time as I can get to visit and continue to watch them grow. You know, and again, I just wanted to, you know, thank this board, but also everybody who has come here today to wish me off. I had the opportunity to have a slight going away in the office right before I left. And that's when it really began to hit me that that what I'm going to miss the most are the people I work with. I have people that I work with that I started with 35 years ago. I've had people that I work with that that they've spent their entire career with me, and I've been able to watch them grow. And that truly is the most difficult part of retiring. The work will go on. Our bureau, LA San, will continue to do great things with the support of this board. I'm not at all worried about that, but I will miss the hardworking people that I've got to work with. And thank you, Alex, for all of your support throughout. I've had the opportunity to work with Alex for many, many, many years. And he's been a great mentor and a great friend. And thank you, Alex. So, and thank you for all of your support through the good times, the difficult times, and watching this move forward. So thank you.
Thank you very much. So I want to ask the commissioners to weigh in. So why don't we start with President Pro Tem Grant?
It's a Wonderful Life is my second favorite Christmas. I think actually more apt is my favorite Christmas movie, which is Miracle on 34th Street, which is a testament to your work and what you did. There's a saying in the labor movement about the better leaders are those who walk with 2 feet, one with their heart and one with vision, and you've exemplified that. Level-headed, and secondly, these projects that you've developed, when there's suggestions for modification, you embrace them. You don't get defensive about it, you embrace them. You look beyond what's being said and take it to heart and figure out a way to make it work. And that has all made, for me, which is why it's just disappointing today that you're leaving, is a model for me about what a public servant should be. And I thank you for developing that model and exemplifying it for me, and I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then Commissioner Mitchell.
Dan, it's just too soon.
It does seem like it.
But I understand. I understand. Thank you for your service to the city. When we first met, granted, you're briefing us on stuff, but, this stuff is pretty complicated, so to speak, and you made it so special and so succinct, and helped me understand exactly what was before us, or what was going to be before us. The fact that all these employees or your fellow employees are here to honor you on this day, to be with you on this day. Fabulous family, those locations in New York or London, that just gives you a time to go and travel and be with your family. And I want to thank you for all your dedication to the city of Los Angeles. I think obviously the city is a better place, and LA San is a better place because of your contributions over the period of time. I want to thank your family for allowing you to come out, and if it happened in your 35 years, I'm sure it did, come out in the middle of the night to sit back here and deal with something that needed to be dealt with without, complaining, so to speak. It's part of what a public servant does in service to the city. So you enjoy your retirement, well-deserved, and have fun with that little one over there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Cardenas.
Yes, thank you, Dan. We met a couple times. Every time I met with you, it was always informational. And that's because of how organized you are. And I can see where, your heart was with the city. And it's a rare person anywhere to work in one department, in one bureau for 35 years. It's a testament to what you wanted to do and what you were serving. So thank you for that. And just want to say the one word that I caught was it was only coworkers, but also friends. And that makes the job a lot easier. So that's a little tough to leave your friends, but I'm sure they'll be here when you need them. But time to move on. Enjoy the grandbaby, enjoy the family, and I wish you well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Vice President Chavez.
Wow, 35 years. Let that sink in for a moment. I bet it doesn't feel that way. But, that's not just a career. That's a calling. And the fact that you did all of that in the same place, that is a commitment to public service that most people can only aspire to. And you lived it every single day. Dan, what I think has really set you apart is this deep belief that good data tells the truth. And that is always the right starting point, no matter what, however complicated that may be. And so in a field where it can be tempting to rely on the way things have always been done, I think that you always came to the table with the information, the facts, the figures, evidence-based solutions, and it didn't just make the programs better, but it made the Bureau better. So thank you for that. And I think nowhere was that more evident than in the Recicla Waste Hauling Program, a revolutionary program, not just for the, the city, but, nationally. And so I think that that transformation of that level doesn't happen with just anyone. It really needs someone at the helm who truly understands the complexity of that work. So what I will remember the most about you is your quiet professionalism and your steady hand that you brought to it. So thank you for that. And as you close this incredible chapter, I hope you embrace every moment with your family. Sleep in, travel, do all the things. You've given so much of yourself to this work that I hope you really relish in this new chapter, and you deserve every bit of joy that comes next. So congratulations, and on behalf of the Bureau and the Board of Public Works and the City of Los Angeles, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Dan. I mean, just want to echo what the fellow commissioners have said. I think you and I have been on so many different, virtual calls and meetings. And as Alex mentioned, I mean, you were so helpful with your dashboards and the data. So you will be missed. I can't imagine many of these calls without your professionalism. And I think you were able to dissect much complicated issues for all of us to understand in many of our briefings. So thank you so much. And although I know your family is visiting Los Angeles from abroad, but I hope we're not going to lose you to a different country. So I hope you'll stay put. As I'm also in my film role trying to make sure that Hollywood stays in Los Angeles. I hope you'll stay here in Los Angeles. So thank you again for 35 amazing years. So please come visit us. And then would love to invite you back here for a photo with the rest of the board and the entire sanitation family as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
So with that, we'll take a 5-minute brief recess for a group photo. Since we have quite a few folks, why don't we take photos at the back of this room? So we'll come back in about 5 minutes. Time now is 10:17 a.m. All right, folks, we're going to resume our regular meeting. Mrs. Torsky, if you want to help reestablish quorum for us.
Of course, we're returning at 10:25 a.m. We have President King, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant, Commissioner Mitchell, and Commissioner Cardenas, and we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We'll go back to our general public comment, which is an opportunity for the public to address the board on public interest items, and will be provided up to 1 minute per person, up to a cumulative total of 10 minutes for the general public comment segment of each regular meeting. Testimony shall be limited in content to subject matters which are within the jurisdiction of the Board of Public Works. The board may not take any action on any matters discussed during the public comment period. We do not have any in-person speakers, so we will transition to our virtual platform.
Great. Our first hand raised is Georgina McPhee. Georgina, good morning. You'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Thank you. First, congratulations to Dan, even though I think he's left the room. It was touching to see such a celebration of a civic servant. It reminds me, however, of the striking contrast between how the Sea Org Scientology members are treated. They get no such celebration of life. And when they retire after having worked 14-hour days for 39 years with no break, they are left with no retirement, no family, no comfort whatsoever. They're just discarded like trash. They've received no health care during this time, and yet your committee still persists on giving permits to an organization that treats its members like this. It's disgusting. You need to stop giving them permits. They violate the terms of every permit they're given, and yet you keep still giving them permits. Please investigate
Thank you,
this.
caller. That's time. Our next hand raised is Sandra. Sandra, you'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I am here to ask the city to table the item on the agenda to change the name of L. Ron Hubbard Way back to North Berendo. Please look up case number 78-00401 in the District Court of Columbia and see that you have named the street after a shyster, con man, and an unindicted co-conspirator in the case of the United States against Mary Sue Hubbard et al. Scientology's goal was to plant fake data and FOIA request that data, then use it against the IRS to gain their tax-exempt status by using high-level ability to control or by overwhelming them with lawfare. Their fair game policy is never to defend, always attack critics like Paulette Cooper, who's a prime example outlined in their Operation Freakout, which was discovered during the FBI raid. Thank you, and I yield back my time.
Thank you, caller. Our next hand raised is Audit LA. Audit, you'll have 1 minute for general.
Good morning and congratulations, Dan, on your retirement. I want to talk about the federal government acknowledges that Sea Org members make $50 a week, but it's only for ministerial reasons. It's not allowed to be for people doing labor or anything to deal with fundraising or sales or anything. And these people, like especially like when I've been talking about the security, okay, that's not a ministerial duty. Yet he's making $50 a week against the law, working on securing public property without a contract. I am really asking you to make that stop. Let the community, they should not be intimidated. I have community members telling me they get intimidated. They think they're not allowed. The community actually thinks they're not allowed to walk down that street or drive down that street. It's ridiculous. They consider it their campus. It's not their campus. They own buildings on that street, but it is not a private campus. It's not, and it needs to stop. If anything else like this, do not allow them to have their security intimidating the public. Thank you.
Our next hand raised is Jennifer Spencer. You can unmute yourself. You'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Hi, I'm calling about the permits that the board keeps issuing Scientology. They are not following the terms of the permits that you are issuing. The events are being staffed by people that have been human trafficked and can't leave because their passports are being held by Scientology. They are blocking the street and not letting general public down it, even though they have the right to. Audit LA herself has been blocked several times, and she can't just go around people because she's in a wheelchair. Those things need to be addressed. Thank you very much. I yield my time.
Thank you, caller. Our next hands raised is phone number ending in 880. You can unmute yourself. You'll have 1 minute.
Hi, I'm going to reiterate what everybody said before me. I'm going to add, again, you need to place signs stating this is not a private road. The sidewalks are public. They are for public access. You're dealing with a child and a human trafficking organization that I've heard has been mentioned in the Epstein files. When are you going to wake up? It's an embarrassment that you're allowing the permits to such an organization that has been mentioned in that awful, grotesque Epstein files and how they treated children. That's what they're associated with. When is the Operation Spring Cleaning going to happen again in Los Angeles like they did last year to help rescue the child trafficking and other human trafficking victims? You're helping them continue to traffic victims, and it has to end. Bye.
Our next hand raised I see is Laura. Laura, you'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, good morning. This is Laura Anderson. I also would like to echo every single caller who just called in regarding revoking Scientology's permits. I would like to echo for the millionth time since we've been here for 2 years now or plus, echoing to bring the revocable permit. This is very important for survivors of Scientology to get the street put back to North Berendo Street. Scientology is a literal gang running behind a religious status. It is a gang, and they are taking over and have taken over Los Angeles City and the neighborhood. So I live in East Hollywood. I would like the revocable permit to be back up on the board to be reviewed. It is revocable, so we would like it as members of Los Angeles to remove L. Ron Hubbard Way and put it back to North Berendo Way. We do not have cults as a representation of Los Angeles. L. Ron Hubbard is a con artist, a scammer.
Our next hand raised is Gigi's phone. Gigi, you'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Yes, I want to remind you guys that L. Ron Hubbard Way the bricks were paved by indentured slaves and in part by child labor. You guys need to do what Laura said about changing it back to North Berendo. Like, why at this point is it still L. Ron Hubbard Way? Like we've mentioned before, there is no Jesus Christ Way in Los Angeles. There should not be another leader of a religion, a supposed religion, having a street named after them. There should be separation of church and state. You need to rip those bricks up, put some metered parking in there so that you guys can get money. You guys might not care about what we're talking about, but money, that should interest you guys. Shouldn't you find ways to help the city get more money? And it would help out with parking too. There's like no parking anywhere in LA. It's so hard to get parking. Put in parking there, get some money for the city, change it back to North Berendo. And again, revoke the revocable permit. They are not following the terms of it. It should be very easy for you guys to just look at it and see that it needs to be revoked.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you.
All right, President King, that is the end of our hands raised for general public comment.
Thank you very much. With that, we will close a general public comment portion of today's meeting and move forward with multiple agenda item public comment. The board will provide an opportunity for members of the public wishing to speak on more than one agenda item during multiple agenda item comment period for up to a minute per item, up to a total of 3 minutes per meeting. This is the only time to speak on more than one agenda item, and please identify the items that you will speak on when you are called.
Okay, our first hand raised is Georgina. Georgina, you said you wanted to speak on minutes, so you will have 1 minute.
Thank you. Guys, are you paying attention? We're asking for some reasonable requests here. Not everything is combative and huge obstacles. We're asking for simple things such as adding the date to the title of your YouTube videos. Every video you have has the exact same title going back years and years. There's thousands of videos all with the exact same title. Don't you think it would be a super simple solution to just throw the dates into those titles so that things are actually researchable? I expect you to make some of these changes. There's simple requests such as adding public comments to the minutes. These people have been calling and showing up in person and making all these reports, and none of it's reflected in your minutes. Please do better. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Our next caller for multiple item commentary is Sandra. Sandra, you mentioned you'd like to speak on all items. You'll have up to 3 minutes. Please state the item you're speaking on.
Thank you. I also want to mention about the minutes also. I would like to say that even if you don't detail everything that we speak on, could you at least bullet point the items that the public commenters are raising? So I'd like to address the Bureau of Sanitation request for a gas chromatography mass spectrometer flame ionization detector system. Fantastic. They are asking for $254,000 to procure this for the Public Safety Commodity Group. Now, if you look at, and we've raised this before, the barricades that Scientology has still on their property that they have not returned to the city, it says on your own permits, barricades must be returned within the next business day. Event sponsor will be responsible for all the barricades or cones at a cost of $35 for barricade per day, $7.25 per day for a cone. At least in a year, if you find Scientology at 20 pieces of barricade at $35 at $700 a day, times $365 a year, that's $255,500. You could buy that gas chromatography mass spectrometer for the Bureau of Sanitation. And I think you should do that. And to think that Scientology have had those barricades for at least 10 years in their possession. So you're looking at $2 million. You could buy 10 of these things, and never mind the amount of other items you could spend that money on. So thank you, and I yield back my time.
Thank you, caller. Our next hand raised is Audit LA. Audit, you will have 3 minutes. Please comment which items, please let us know which items you're speaking on.
Good morning again. Yes, let me start with number 3, the sidewalk repair programs. We absolutely need that. It seems like it's only a little bit of money, though, being put in for sidewalks and pedestrian repair. And someone in a chair, I'm here to really tell you, we need to focus on that. And I understand these other things like chromatography and Hyperion are also very important. I've suggested prior that with Hyperion, a lot of the money they're putting into it is to make it really almost like Disney-esque. Well, I would ask Disney or other entities to help pay for that. I would also ask, like eventually I believe that the tax thing, their tax exempt status will be overturned because, it turns out that the Supreme Court ruled that the tax deductions for Scientology are illegal, and so this IRS still gave it to them. So when they lose their tax exempt status, and they have to pay for all the taxes on all the buildings they own, you're gonna be flush with money. But there's also, like I said, you can encourage other entities. You could even encourage Scientology to chip in. They have billions of dollars to help actually pay for these infrastructures, because not enough is going to the sidewalks. Also with minutes, I used to be the secretary of my neighborhood council, so I'm very, very well versed in writing minutes. I'd be happy to volunteer my time and energy. I really would. I would literally do it for you guys, just because I think it's so important that actual facts of what is happening at these meetings, and regardless whether it's us or anyone else, like tomorrow, all of our problems maybe it'll be fixed by tomorrow, and other people are going to come. I want them to I want the history to record everything that's going on. I would do that. I would volunteer my time. I'm really good at writing minutes. And the other part is about the neighborhood councils. I really hope you guys do more to encourage neighborhood councils to participate. I know they send in a lot of, they participate more with city council because it goes through you guys first, then it goes to city council. But there needs to be a way because a lot of this stuff affects the community. It all affects our communities. And they really need to know that they can talk about these things early on. And, but they always have to come as private people because they never have the time. So is there a way that you guys could really encourage? I really want to see more involvement of neighborhood councils. And I know you guys go out and do all kinds of meet and greets, but I'm hoping that you guys would actually show up at neighborhood councils. I think they
Thank
would
you,
love to
caller.
have you.
That's
Thank you.
time. Our last hand raised I see is Laura Anderson. Laura, will you let us know which items you would like to speak on?
Just on the minutes.
On the minutes? Okay, you'll have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Thank you. I definitely strongly want to echo what the last callers just said. And also regarding the minutes, being able to see the dates, the time, the video. It's more important than you guys, our guests, are realizing because it's actually a legal factor. When somebody's saying, hey, for 2 years we've been calling in asking to revoke Scientology's permits, you keep giving them, and you guys aren't doing anything, it seems on our end that you're not doing anything about it, then we need to at least have the legal justice system on our side saying, hey, we have a record that shows that as the cult survivors of Scientology, we have a record showing that we called in and asking Public Works to stop giving Scientology permits on their streets for anything, for the Shrine street closures, for anything, because they only use this for recruiting and harassment and human trafficking. So again, please update the minutes so that that reflects and that people in the system and
Thank you,
outside
caller.
listening can get that.
That's time. All right, President Kang, that is the end of our hand raised for multiple item commentary.
Thank you very much. With that, we will close multiple item public comment and move forward with the approval of minutes for Friday, February 6, 2026.
So move.
First by President Pro Tem Grant, seconded by Commissioner Cardenas.
And sorry, we're training, so moving a
No
little slower
problem.
today.
Thank you, thank you.
Commissioner Cardenas. Okay, let us take roll. We'll start with you, President King.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
All ayes, the minutes are approved.
Thank you very much. Moving to item number 1, which is on consent. I'll move. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Cardenas.
Okay, I'm sorry, who moved the item? My apologies.
I
Thank
moved.
you, President King. We will start the roll call with you. President King,
Aye.
Vice President Chavez,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant,
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell, and Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye. Aye.
Great. All ayes, the item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you very much. We'll take items a little bit out of order. We'll first move to item number 3, request for qualifications RFQ Rapid Pedestrian Facility Repair Program Contract Serial Number 1.
Good morning. Good morning, President Kang, Commissioners. I'm here to present on the Rapid Pedestrian Facility Repair Program. This was a continued item from a previous board meeting, so I just wanted to touch upon some of the highlights from the program with this presentation. So just a quick bit of context, the City Sidewalk Repair Program was established by City Council on February 3rd, 2015. We currently implement the terms of the Willits Settlement. Our ways of delivering these projects right now are currently the Streets LA construction crews, small contractor construction orders of the community contracting list, and large packages, including design bid packages that come to board for award. This program that we're issuing the RFQ for is going to add another delivery method to the program. Some general contract information is this RFQ is going to be a fixed unit price contract for urgent repair and rehabilitation of pedestrian facilities. We're going to advertise the RFQ to establish the contract. Bidders will then submit their statement of qualifications, including their unit pricing for 113 bid items. and then we'll review and award the contract to the top 5 qualified contractors. Some unique elements I just wanted to touch upon. We're looking to redeclare access requests and city facilities projects as a matter of urgent necessity. And just to kind of clarify, access requests is a very specific term. It means that a resident in the city of Los Angeles goes through the current My 311 LA site, certifies that they are a person with a mobility disability. That request then goes to Department of Disability for screening, and it finally comes to Bureau of Engineering to determine the eligibility of that request. So it's a very specific type of request that comes through. On this contract, there will be some bid items for requests for 3D design for building, curb ramps, and some construction orders will specifically request that. Just a note on that the Bureau of Engineering is still controlling which sites and what the scope of work is and what specific barriers we want removed on those. So it's not a free-for-all on the design. It's very specific. And some other construction orders will be provided with just exhibit plans, kind of scoping the work, and the contractor will be able to complete that simple sidewalk repair with standard plans or just in the field. So the request for the construction order authority would also be $300,000 per work order. So some examples of how much scope of work that is are shown here. So you can see this is from some previous projects for this site. It's approximately about $230,000 for 3,500 square feet and 3 curb ramps. Here's another site for approximately $300,000 for 6,000 square feet, and another site for approximately $200,000 for 2,000 square feet. Just to reiterate on the contract, it's going to have a cost ceiling of $300 million. The contract duration is 3 years. There'll be 112 to 113 bid items, and the construction order amount will be $300,000. Another note that the BIP requirements are recommended to be waived, and that's in accordance with the urgent necessity contract provisions. The contractors are not going to be able to commit a percentage because they're not, they wouldn't know how much work they would be getting on the construction orders pre-bid. So the exact quantities and scope are unknown at the time of the contract execution. And this has been reviewed by BCA and the CAO's Office for Procurement, and they concur with the recommendation. So here's some general contract information. This is an example of a construction order that would go out to a contractor. And it'd be issued through a series of construction orders and through the lowest quantity takeoff for their work and pricing. Like as I was saying before, BOE would identify which sites and what specific barriers that we would want to remediate. In cases where we do request for a design build or request that they submit a design, we would issue that to the contractor. The city would then review their intermediate design and then agree to the scope and finalize it and pay the construction through the unit price items. From there, the contractor would complete the work at the site. Here's an example of what the package would look like. As you can see here, there's a delineation for kind of the scope that we're asking for. And along with that would be a quantity takeoff that's put together by the Bureau of Engineering to get the total cost for each contractor for their unit prices that they submitted through the RFQ process. And also for transparency, we also are tying these sites that we'll be completing to our access and construction database that is currently up at the City Sidewalks LA Gov reporting and mapping. So these are just some screen captures of sidewalk projects completed in this fiscal year on the left, and the amount of scheduled projects that were access requests on the right. And that's a publicly accessible site. And it also has information for before and after pictures or statuses or the request numbers, addresses, and site numbers on that site. In addition to this, we were proposing to come to the board quarterly to present the status. This is very similar to the sewers urgent necessity contract, or it used to be. I think they're not doing it anymore, but they would submit a quarterly report along with an oral report that would explain the scope of work that was completed in that quarter for those projects. So, skipping over, so just to reiterate, our typical design bid process is roughly about 14 to 16 months. Using this rapid sidewalk package or program, we anticipate that being cut down to a 3 to 4 month time frame for us to get a site out to a contractor to start either design work or to start construction. So just to highlight the advantages that we would have, that it would just, since we are losing some of the BSS crews to reassignment, it would help supplement that for us to be able to maintain our current productivity of work. It expedite our schedules. We are also looking to ensure transparency by presenting quarterly reports to the board and progress at the monthly steering committee meetings. Again, it reduces the time frame of us getting projects out. And it also has an ability to complete more complicated sites than BSS and the ARAP program. So with that, that concludes the presentation. I'm not sure if there's any questions.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, questions or comments related to this item? Did you have a
Pardon?
Did you have a question, Commissioner Mitchell?
I'll defer to Commissioner
And then,
Grant.
well, President Pro Tem Grant.
Thank you for this report, which was, well, I first want to say I appreciate the difficulty of maintaining and improving the urban infrastructure whilst we have a deficit, and how you allocate, where you allocate, and get things of, if not an urgent, at least a pressing manner. And I appreciate the, after the significant board discussion that's taken place here, that this, if you will, sort of revised request from before, it's much more coherent, it's a fuller request. I think it addresses issues through data. It addresses issue of communication, which has been lacking in various parts. And addresses the most important element, I think, of public works, which are the city employees that perform it. And I think if anyone questions the efficacy or the importance of having a public, transparent Board of Public Works, I think this is proof of its importance, in that, in fact, when there is discussion, when there are questions, we go back and we look at it, we remodel, we have discussions, we come to agreement, we clear up confusion, and I think that's what this has happened. While I have still some reservations about this project, I must say that the good faith that's been demonstrated heretofore, and my discussions with the union over the last several days has convinced me that I think it'd be appropriate to support it at this time.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Mitchell.
In the presentation, there was a discussion about the 2015 Declaration of Urgent Necessity, which was from the period of February 1st, 2015 until June 30th, 2015. The urgent necessity was to hire 46 positions to do the work, city positions to do the work. There was also, over time, the urgent necessity was with the prioritization of sidewalks adjacent to city facilities. Have we covered all the city facilities? Have we?
You're asking, have we completed remediation of the pedestrian facilities adjacent to all the city facilities?
Yes.
No, we have not. We have completed a fraction of the city facilities to date under the program.
And in order to have an urgent necessity, it must be, the contract must be for the preservation of life, health, or property. These are existing problems that we've had in the city for a long period of time. They don't arise overnight, such as a sewer repair.
You know, for the case of the council declarations, they have been relative to access requests and repairs adjacent to city facilities. So for access requests, those are requests by individuals with mobility disabilities or on behalf of individuals with mobility disabilities to remove barriers in the public right of way. And despite the fact that a barrier may have been present for some time, an individual that, you know, maybe traverses that may be newly disabled or may have a new disability, or they may have become a caretaker or had a parent or relative move in with them that now is someone newly confronting that mobility disability, or someone who had a child who has a mobility disability and who is unable to access that barrier. So by their nature, they, you know, may be something that have not been experienced as a barrier prior to being reported. And I think for city facilities, it's our obligation to provide equal access, both under the law and our moral duty to provide equal access to all of our constituents to our city facilities. But despite the, you know, amount of time the barrier may have been there, and it may, you know, be ones that are recently caused, or uplifting trees, uplifting the sidewalks that are more newly formed. But allowing expeditious addressing of this helps provide access as soon as possible and equal access under the law to the city's programs, to places like the senior center in Council District 5 that we recently completed remediation on.
And what is our current backlog of access requests?
Currently, we have approximately 5,000 access requests in our queue.
So the urgent necessity with regard to access requests is not being taken care of in over 10 years?
Depending on the priority of the access requests, we have a council adopted prioritization for access requests to help us prioritize those. But once those do reach the top of the queue, and those individuals that have been waiting for these improvements, as David said, it's still, once it reaches the top of the queue, 14 to 16 months through our traditional contracting method. So by saving almost a year on these projects, that's 1 year more of access, more of equal access, more of, you know, being able to get to the bus stop and participate in community events, get active exercise. Those are improvements that come a year sooner to those individuals that, yes, maybe have been waiting in the backlog, but I think would appreciate, you know, that additional time and benefit and access.
And how do we prioritize? The problem I'm having is the prioritization. Initially, it was city facilities, and we still haven't completed that in over 10, 11 years. And then last on the list per the settlement agreement was residential, and I see more and more residential stuff. Not to say that that's a bad thing, so to speak, because for the most part, people walk more around their homes than they do around city facilities. But yet and still, we're not getting anything done faster or better. And I don't know that this arising to basically, I still see value in transparency to have the packages placed in front of us, because how else do I explain to folks, well, nothing's going on in my neighborhood, and then we have this issue about who gets services throughout the city in terms of equity. I don't think a quarterly report is going to do it in terms of this is not does not rise to a situation of urgent necessity of of life, death, or damage to property, such as a sewer. And for those reasons, that when we have to declare urgent necessity, because that's pursuant to the Charter 371E5, and even though we've said access requests are a priority or should be a priority and an urgent necessity, we still have not addressed that. And I don't know that changing the name of the program or the method in which we contract for that is going to be of any assistance. We already have a list of contractors. So I'm not sure that this does anything to take care of that issue in the city with regard to this backlog. It's not getting any better. But I do appreciate the work that has been done in terms of trying to address this situation, and it's been here long before any of us, including yourselves, who worked longer for the city than certainly I have in this capacity. But I'm not sure that this is the way to address it when we already have contracts that we can actually let out and start seeing stuff right away. And I think it's very important to have the transparency. We went to a town hall in CD9 in September, you will recall, and people were very, very upset about every single thing that's not happening in their community. And I sympathize with that all over the city. And it's, it's not personal or whatever else, but how do we sit back here and they want to know what's happening? And we have a contractual in place, and I'm not sure that this proposal does much to address the concerns that everybody has with regard to this very serious issue in the city. But again, I appreciate everything that you've done in the monthly reports we have in the sidewalk executive repair executive committee, steering committee, and those reports, because unfortunately, and I hate to say this, but we don't necessarily value or place value with regard to the dollars that we allocate to this very necessary program, as well as other programs under the Board of Public Works. And so, again, I know our employees do the best that they can to try to, make things work with the limited funding that we have. And I just want to say that for that reason, I appreciate it, but I'm not sure that this is the fix. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? Vice President Chavez.
Yes, agreed that I realize the immediate capacity gap that currently exists, and that this is being framed as addressing that gap. But there's still some missing pieces for me. I'm not privy to the long-term vision here, and I'd like to better understand what is the long-term plan to address the remaining 21 years of the Willett settlement obligations? I'd like to understand what we consider optimal in terms of city staff versus contractors. If we have one, what's the basis for that target? And then what, if any, I see street services over here, would like to understand if there has been in the proposed budget request for additional in-house sidewalk repair capacity positions. Is that included, or is the plan to include it in the future? Shirley or Keith want to come up too? Feel free. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm happy to address. So we're working to report back to the council to, yes, there is large backlog and a growing backlog every fiscal year. So we have our Willett Settlement Agreement, which is a 30-year, $1.4 billion program, which started with a $31 million a year annual commitment and ramping up to keep up with primarily the cost of inflation to a little over 60 million. It increases every 5 years throughout the term of the settlement. So the settlement itself requires that a minimum of 20% of the annual commitment be allocated to access requests. So the city has met or exceeded that for the entire history of the program. A number of years back, we were, closer to 40, 50, 60%. And in the past few fiscal years, we've allocated over 80%. This year, over 90% of that annual commitment towards access requests, towards addressing these barriers from individuals with mobility disabilities. So I think, in that way, the city, has put focus and resources within the, minimal annual commitment. We've also, as a city, when additional funding has been available, although that hasn't been the case in the past fiscal years, in the fiscal years prior, the city allocated anywhere between 10 and 15 million dollars above and beyond the minimum annual commitment for access request acceleration, understanding that this, is a priority to serve and provide equal access to individuals with mobility disabilities. We are working with the council, reporting back on opportunities to revise the current council adopted prioritization. So we do have a council adopted prioritization that was established to address these backlog of access requests. So we're working to bring revisions to the council that incorporate to a larger extent equity. I know that Commissioner Mitchell mentioned, and more the severity in the prioritization scoring. So I think that will help with the resources we do have to funnel those to the communities, to the barriers being experienced by the most people in the higher traffic areas and the
Okay, but
areas
Julie,
that
I'm sorry, you're not, that wasn't the question. So you're
Oh.
talking about the funding. I'm not talking about the funding. I'm talking about the staffing plan.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
What is the plan for long-term to staff this? Is there a plan? And that's what I'm asking about, because we have 21 years left in this program. What is the staffing plan long-term? Because I get that this is a stopgap measure because we don't have enough staff right now. But long-term, is there a plan?
Not.
You can say no, it's okay.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, so that's what we need to get to, is, because I get it, we're trying to address a crisis right now. We have a crisis, we have this huge backlog. You've made that case, and we understand that. And I guess that's why I was asking, in the upcoming budget, are there any positions being requested, either at BOE on the sidewalk division or in BSS? Are there any positions being requested that are going to help staff this?
Well, we did request in terms of BOE in the upcoming budget one position, a civil engineering associate 3 position that would help manage this list, the work issued via this list that was previously performed by city crews, and now asking for an additional staff person to help manage that through contractors.
Okay. And then what about in street services?
Yes, good morning. Shirley Lau, Executive Officer of Street Services. We asked for 133 positions as part of our sidewalk maintenance package. However, the sidewalk maintenance package is not meant to focus on the sidewalk repair program's access requests. In fact, we also made another request to return the 3 crews that we have working on the BOE sidewalk repair program right now so that they can support our own pavement preservation programs, access ramps, to construct the access ramp
program. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that that's kind of the next step. Once we've gotten past this immediate crisis, right, for this coming fiscal and maybe the next fiscal, this is what we need. We need a long-term staffing plan. And I know we're working on a long-term CAP, but that's exactly what needs to be worked with our labor partners, is coming up with what's that right mix of city staff versus contracted work, based on, you know, what we are trying to accomplish, based on the resources that we can reasonably expect, so that we have a plan. So when we're not just guessing and hoping and praying and crossing our fingers that we'll get through the 5,000 location. I mean, that's not a feasible. That's not a sustainable approach, in other words. And I empathize with staff in that you're trying to, you know, deal with the immediate crisis, but we need to think a little bit longer range here, and how best the board can help get you there, because there's going to need to be policy changes to help expedite certain hiring. There's going to need to be prioritization in the budget cycle. There's going to need to be support for implementing the plan as you can come up with it. You know, especially when it comes to hiring, that is absolutely something that I think we can work with our labor partners on, in terms of, like, let's focus on what the goals are, because we have challenges in this city where we cannot figure out what the right balance is in terms of personnel. In good years, we hire up, and in bad years, we stop hiring and we lose people, and we cannot keep going this way. And so this is a perfect example. We have a long-term program. We have a long-term commitment. We're bound to a settlement agreement. Like, this is one of the more certain things that we have. This is not a new program either. So I think this is a good place to start and really show what a long-term plan can look like, and model it. And again, work with our labor partners, figure out what the mix is. And so that's why I was asking about target goals in terms of coming up with the right ratio based on the anticipated work and resources that we have. So I'd love to see that, you know, we can work on that in the coming year, and bring that back to us and keep us updated on how we can best support the efforts for that, because we can't keep doing the short-term fixes. That's not going to get us out of this. So appreciate that.
Thank you very much. So, Commissioners, I know we've had quite a bit of discussion on this item, and briefings from many of our bureaus, but Shirley, also if you want to comment a little bit. And I know I do want to commend our staff. They've also had extensive conversations with our labor partners to ensure that we have a roadmap for the future, that they are comfortable with the arrangement at hand. But as VP mentioned, I know there's room for improvement. But at this time, I know that from my understanding, that without this agreement, we would not be able to fulfill our obligations leading up to world events. But Shirley, if you want to share a little bit about your discussions with our union partners and any other details that might be helpful for the board.
Yes, absolutely. So Bureau of Street Services, we did meet with our union partners, and as I previously mentioned, we do have a budget request for next fiscal year, and we had one for this fiscal year as well, to increase our street services staff to support overall sidewalk maintenance in the entire city. And so we provided that information, and they now understand, you know, there are there's the Bureau of Engineering's program, which we Street Services, we're asking for those crews to be returned to the Bureau of Street Services. We articulated that, and then we said that that would necessitate a need for the Bureau of Engineering to go to contract. And in addition, we have that additional request for sidewalk maintenance for fiscal year 26-27. So they are understanding of that situation, and that was part of our briefing.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments from the board to our staff? Anything else you all want to add before we conclude discussions?
No, we look forward to working with the board. Appreciate your comments, Vice President Chavez, and do agree. Have seen when we've had a 50-50 mix between city staff resources and contracting resources. I think it's allowed us to expedite projects where they are less complex, and as well as have a means through contracting and the onboarding of professional services to address more complex or larger projects. So I look forward to putting together a detailed staffing plan and laying that out to you sort of in numbers and scope of services and continuing the discussion.
Thank you very much. So we'll conclude discussions on this item. So with that, I would like to move to approve item number 3. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice President Chavez.
Okay, we'll take the roll call starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
Okay, 4 ayes, the item passes.
Thank you very much. We'll go back to item number 2 from the Bureau of Sanitation, request for authorization, purchase of a gas chronometer, gas mass spectrum. It's a long word, but I'll let you kind of read that for me. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. President, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, Legal Counsel, and Executive Officer. My name is Jesus Rocha. I am a senior chemist here representing LA Sanitation and Environment at the Environmental Monitoring Division. Our main duty at EMD is to provide analytical services, scientific analytical services to the city to help ensure that the city is meeting its obligations to protect public health as well as the environment. I'm here to request approval for the purchase of a gas chromatograph mass spectrometer flame ionization detector. This system is at an approximate cost of $254,000. This purchase is necessary to replace an 8-year-old instrument as part of the division's capital equipment replacement program. This instrument is used to analyze volatile organic compounds, which can be found in air samples. These analyses ensure that the city can meet its legally required compliance testing and is essential for vital process control support for our wastewater treatment plants. We're held liable to requirements in National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permits and South Coast Air Quality Management District requirements, as well as landfill monitoring regulations. Without this new instrument, the city will be unable to perform these permit-mandated VOC analysis, placing us at significant risk for noncompliance. Outsourcing this work is a major challenge due to the volatility and the short holding time of these particular chemicals. The short holding time will incur high outsourcing costs, usually through expedited requests. And that for the 300 samples the city handles a year at $200 a sample would be $480,000, which far exceeds the cost of this one-time replacement. This will allow us to continue doing this work in-house with our city chemists and analysts at our laboratory. This is requested as a sole source for Agilent Technologies as it will seamlessly integrate with our current ecosystem of other analytical instruments at our lab. This ensures that softwares are compatible with our current laboratory information management systems. It'll save on costs that are attributed to remapping our systems should we have another software or another report style. This also reduces training with our current staff as this harmonizes with the rest of our instruments, which for our sophisticated instruments such as this, training could be anywhere from 4 to 6 months for any new type of system. So we'll save on any training costs on staff. Additionally, cost efficiency will be able to save as the consumables and repair products will be able to be bought in bulk, as most of our systems utilize very similar systems. So with that being said, if I can answer any questions for you guys, I would be happy to.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments on item number 2? Seeing none, is there a first and a second?
So move. Second.
First by President Pro Tem Grant, seconded by Commissioner Cardenas.
Great. We'll take the roll call starting with you, President Kang.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
Aye.
Great. All ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 4, contract award for Reyes Construction, Inc.
Good morning, Commissioners, President Kang. My name is Eduardo Hernandez. I'm with the Bureau of Engineering and the Clean Water Division. And I'm here to request that the board declare Regis Construction Incorporated first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder and award Regis a contract for the David M. Gonzalez Recreation Center Stormwater Capture Project in the amount of $47,834,795. This project is located in the East San Fernando Valley in Council District 7. It consists of installing a 2.6-acre underground infiltration gallery to capture, infiltrate stormwater, improve the quality of stormwater, and recharge the San Fernando groundwater basin. The runoff will be collected from approximately a 759-acre tributary area and diverted to the infiltration galleries with an estimated average yield of approximately 146 million gallons of water. Construction for the underground infiltration gallery will include installation of storm drain diversion structures, storm drain pipes, hydrodynamic separators, infiltration galleries, flow measuring devices, a new irrigation system, educational signage, and then other above ground improvements will include restoration of baseball fields, multi-purpose fields, new player benches, a batting cage, bleachers, and new sports field lighting. The contract duration for this project is 730 calendar days, which is 2 years. In terms of the bid review, we received 3 bids for this project, with the lowest bid submitted by Regis Construction for an amount of $47,834,795. This is 10.63% lower than the city engineer estimate of $53,526,240. After evaluating the bids, there were some clerical errors by Regis Construction. However, BOE staff, in concurrence with the Deputy City Attorney, recommends that these clerical errors be treated as waivable defects and that these errors not affect award eligibility. Regis has worked on numerous contracts issued by the board. No significant or unresolved problems in inspection, contract compliance, or bidder responsibility have been experienced by the Bureau of Contract Administration. And then in terms of the BIP requirements, this project was advertised with anticipated participation levels of 4% minority business, 2% women business, 25% small business, 8% emerging business, and 3% disabled veteran business enterprises. Based on the review of the Office of Contract Compliance, Regis pledged participation levels of 29.23% for minority business enterprise, which exceeded the city's anticipated participation levels. They also exceeded the participation level for small business enterprise, pledging 30.53%. They did fall a little short on the women's business enterprise and the emerging business enterprise. and the disabled veteran business enterprise. However, they did comply with all the BIP outreach requirements. They also met the mandatory subcontracting minimum requirement of 25%. They pledged a total of 46.47% for subcontract participation. So in conclusion, in view of the above findings, staff recommends that the board declare Reyes the first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder and award Reyes Construction the contract for this project. In terms of the funding, the total construction budget is $57,258,000, which includes a contingency amount of $9,423,205. This project is funded by LADWP with leveraging funds from the Measure W Safe Clean Water program. And that concludes my report, and I can take any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions or comments related to item number 4? All right, seeing no discussions, is there a first and a second?
So move.
First by President Pro Tem Grant, seconded by Commissioner Mitchell.
Great. We will take the roll call starting with you, President King.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Mitchell. And Commissioner Cardenas.
All right.
Wonderful. All ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you very much. Thank you. With that, I believe that concludes our voting items for today.
That is correct, President King. That's the end of our agenda items.
Thank you very much. Our next regular meeting of the Board of Public Works is scheduled for Monday, February 23rd, 2026. The meeting is now adjourned at 11:26 a.m.
Yeah, it's on the. What are we going to do? What? Who's? Oh, mine.